Dr. Levi Nido for joining us as a political analyst from Johannesburg. Now we move on to our next news. At least 3 people have died and 5 are missing after a launch boat with 14 crew members capsized during a transfer operation near Beira Port in central Mozambique. The Indian High Commission in Mozambique has now confirmed that all the 14 crew members who were Indian nationals, including the 3 who have passed away. 5 Indian nationals were rescued from the water, with 1 survivor who is currently receiving medical treatment at a hospital in Beira. The incident took place on Friday during a routine crew transfer to a tanker vessel anchored offshore. The cause of the capsizing is still unknown and investigation is underway. The High Commission has expressed condolences. Now we move on to our next news. The South African attorney involved in the International Court of Justice case against Israel has urged global action for Palestine. Attorney Ziad Patel has stated that the proposed legislation includes measures such as sanctioning and banning on supporting institutions who are complicit in the confiscation of Palestinian property. Patel has explained that South Africa's complaint against Israel is grounded in the obligations of states under the Genocide Convention. He has added that as a signatory, the Genocide Convention, South Africa feels is compelled to bring the issue to the international stage. He has further noted that before the ICJ proceedings, the matter of Israel had also been referred to the International Criminal Court. The attorney has further explained that the International Criminal Court primarily investigates war crimes and crimes against humanity, while the genocide dimension is pursued through the ICJ. Now for this discussion, we welcome Professor Rohan Gunaratna. He's an international affairs expert, joins us live from Singapore. Thank you very much, Professor. Good to see you. So looking at this, to what extent could this current ongoing South Africa's legal campaign reshape Israel, as well as looking at South Africa's own history and past, they're both these countries' global image and foreign policy? Do you think, how can this affect them?
Asuma, the case that South Africa has filed against Israel, it was filed in December of 2023, just a few months after the Hamas attack in October of 2023 that triggered this devastating war. Having examined the documentation, the British government, the US, and also a number of other governments have very clearly stated that there is no merit and it is counterproductive and it's lacking in facts. So it's going to be a huge challenge for South Africa to proceed. So what is going to happen is that the United States has very clearly stated that it will take action against the ICJ. So there will be a significant opposition from ICJ moving forward against Israel during the Trump period. Of course, after the Trump period, the Americans and the Europeans may take a different position. But at this point, most of the Western nations are against this move.
Do you think this particular lawyer or individual, Patel, calling for other countries to join will have any effects?
Yeah, certainly it can, but the countries that make the big decisions, they're the Americans and the Europeans, the Canadians, the Australians, New Zealanders. Their position is largely that this case should not proceed because the war in Gaza was triggered by a Hamas attack. And this application that I have reviewed does not adequately call for action against Hamas. It is a one-sided litigation.
Right. And Professor Rohan Gunaratna, what do you think ICJ can do if Israel is, I may say, convicted?
ICJ can do a lot of damage against the political leadership of Israel, the military leadership of Israel, but it will not happen in our time because the Israelis are also diplomatically very savvy, and Israel will work very closely with its allies and its partners to ensure it does not take place. But I also want to share with you something that is right now, President Trump is working very closely with Israel. There may come a time where the United States may not have a leader who is who is not going to support Israel to the same extent as Trump. So it very much depends on the politics, international politics, the global political landscape, which very much determine the security landscape of the world.
And Professor, are there any implications for South Africa's diplomatic stand against Israel for other African nations? Are any African nations do any African nations also look at Israel or hold opinions like South Africa towards Israel?
Israel has made an allegation that South Africa is the legal arm of Hamas. And to some extent, what we have seen is that other African countries have supported South Africa in this case. But I also want to share with you the African continent doesn't have so much of diplomatic, economic, and political or even military power. So today what really matters is countries that have political and economic influence, they have diplomatic and military force. So South Africa's opinion will not uh, be very decisive in the coming months and coming years. Also, the world has witnessed that Israel acted very harshly.
Yes.
Israeli response was overwhelming, but Israel
Yes.
did not systematically kill Palestinians. There are 2 million Arabs or Palestinians living in Israel. They were untouched. So this whole allegation that Israel is committing genocide has no basis. Uh, Israel has been historically harsh against terrorism globally, and even their advice, their training, everything. But I think the accusation that Israel is systematically killing off the Palestinians has no basis, no legal foundation or basis.
With that, I would like to thank Professor Rohan Gunaratna for joining us and sharing that insight throughout. Thank you. Now we move on and we stay in Africa. Zimbabwe's ruling party, ZANU-PF, has announced support to extend President Emerson Mnangagwa's term until 2030, formalizing a move that has raised tensions across the country. Emerson Mnangagwa, who took power in 2017 by military-backed coup, was earlier restricted to 2 terms ending in 2028. However, the ZANU-PF party Congress has cited developmental milestones and socio-economic progress as reason for this decision and directed the government to begin legislative amendments to enable this extension. The decision has prompted strong reactions from opposition lawyers who have stated that they will challenge any constitutional changes required to block the president's term extension, calling the move a threat to democratic rule. Tensions have been further heightened by recent arrests in the capital city of Harare, where 10 people were detained for alleged plans to protest against the extension. They now face charges of participating in gatherings intended to incite public violence and will appear in court tomorrow. And that's a wrap on Africa Brief. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.